What's up, guys? So they recently released a new blog on the new skill that may be coming to old school later this year, warding. We've already learned quite a bit about this new skill last year at RuneFest. Also, the information in this video is from the blog that was released on April 16th, 2019. So they may release more information or they may make changes to what was shown in this blog. So make sure to keep your eyes out for any new information that comes out. The information in this video is from the blog from the date that I just said. So I recorded a very long commentary that was like 30 or 40 minutes or something explaining what was shown in the blog. I'm going to try and shorten it down and make it less confusing. I made a little graphic here of kind of the process of warding and what it's going to do, the end product, and all the resources and stuff. So there's going to be new lamps that you can buy from a store. A new resource called Stay Tight that you can get from a store. There are going to be new flax seeds, which I assume will come from PVM. There's going to be new hunter creatures, and there's going to be things called abraxas, which you get from PVM. In the graphic, I outlined the very beginning resources that you're going to have to buy from shops or get from hunter and stuff, where you're going to have to start the skill if it were to come out. I underlined those in purple. So there's three main end products that you get from warding. So there's going to be area buffs, Conjuring, and new magic armor, and those have a green box around them. So the new mage armor, going backwards, you create the new mage armor, and you create that from an elemental ward that you draw or just a natural one somewhere in the game, along with fabrics. The fabrics you're going to get from new seeds or the new hunter methods, and then the ward that you're going to use is either going to be naturally in the game. To draw your own, you're going to need a ward stone, and to get a ward stone, you're going to need Stay Tight, which you get from a store, and you're going to need Viz, which you get from a channeling lamp, which you get from a store. You can also get Viz from dissolving items, and in order to dissolve items, you're going to have to use an elemental ward again, so either natural or one that you've drawn. Then going backwards from Conjuring and area buffs, you're going to need a catalytic ward stone, and in order to get a catalytic ward stone, you're going to need abraxas, which will come from PVM, and you also need Viz. So hopefully that makes sense. That's a lot easier to explain it with this picture than going through 40 minutes of the text in the blog and trying to sort things out from there. So just some key points from this graphic before getting into the end products. The dissolving items, that is pretty big. Being able to dissolve, I don't know if they're going to put in big items like Bandos or Armadillo, or if it's just going to be iron plate bodies. But that could potentially be pretty big for the game, and in my opinion, positive to the game if we can dissolve items, especially high-end items. And the new farming and hunter content is nice as well. So now getting into the end products, which is kind of which is pretty much mainly the new thing with this dev blog. Most of the other stuff we already knew. As far as the new stuff, so the new armor. In free-to-play, they're going to be rebalancing wizard robes and shade robes with slightly more magic attack. In pay-to-play, split bark, skeletal, and lunar armor will be rebalanced to more match their level requirements. Just a little bit more mage attack on each of those armors. I will throw up a picture with their new stats. And a quick note with the skeletal armor, it's going to get a new effect, which is 1% magic damage bonus against aquatic enemies. The new diplomacy quest is going to have to be changed a little bit so that the armor you get from the quest is not the same armor that's going to be stronger. And then brand new armors, we're going to have the Arceus robes, which are very low tier. We're going to have Bloodbark armor, which is slightly better magic attack than Mystic, and it has fairly good defense bonuses. And then it has a special effect. The closer you are to your opponent, the more damage you deal. There's also a chance of soaking melee damage by 50%. So next up is Soulbark armor, which is kind of an improvement over the Bloodbark armor. Slightly more mage attack bonus, quite a bit of defense bonus, and the special effect, which increases magic damage based on how close you are to your enemy. Next is Soulbark. It has slightly better magic, actually a lot better magic bonus than Mystic. It is actually just a little bit worse than Ancestral, and it has a magic damage bonus, which is better than Ancestral, but it only applies to certain monsters. It only applies to aquatic enemies, which in the blog, it gives examples of Dagnoth and Water Fiends. Dagonhai, it has slightly worse magic attack than Arams, and it has a special effect where against undead enemies such as ghosts and zombies and skeletons, it has a plus 3% magic damage bonus for each piece. The Kin Hunter, it is slightly worse than Aram's with the magic attack bonus, but it has a plus 5% magic damage bonus for each piece of armor when used against dragon things. So this is supposed to be kind of the magic equivalent of the Dragon Hunter crossbow and the Dragon Hunter lance. And then finally we have the Venomous armor, which is slightly worse magic attack bonus than Aram's, but it has a plus 3 magic % damage bonus against venomous monsters like lizardmen, spiders, and snakes. There are some new weapons, Mystic Cocktails, which are supposed to be kind of like Chinchampas, but they only work against demons. Then there's the Demon Bane Claws. They will auto-cast specific spells against demons and have increased damage against demons. Then the Skull Scepter Imbues, which will allow you to auto-cast Crumble Undead plus new Crumble Undead spells, and they will have increased damage against undead monsters. There's going to be new imbues for Skilling Rings, which will respawn resources as soon as they deplete, or at least give you a chance for that to happen. So that pretty much covers all of the new armor and weapons. Now we're going to get into the two other areas, which are area buffs and conjuring. So area buffs. Battle wards, when stood within 1 tile radius from a ward, would activate certain buffs to the player, but only while the player is dealing magic damage to enemies. A single ward's power is spread over everyone who stands near it to gain effect. And there's a picture with all of the levels and different area buffs. Next up is conjuring. So conjuring, alternatively, wards could be used for conjuring by placing down a specific ward. A magical creature would be conjured to help the player in a variety of ways. To conjure, draw a conjuring ward with a catalytic ward stone once your ward is in place. Burning bones or ashes on the ward will conjure a specific type of mob, such as a demonic being or an undead nightmare. Conjuring will also reward you with a token amount of prayer experience. And once again, there is a picture with the different levels and the different things that you can conjure. So obviously this stuff could have a pretty big impact on combat. Conjuring seems kind of like dead content though. A Hellhound, like that's going to be pretty useless pretty much everywhere. It's kind of like construction. I've always wondered why the highest thing you can build, highest guard you can build in your dungeon, not counting the chest room, is stuff like Hellhounds and Trolls, because they suck. Like no one's going to go into your dungeon and die to those things. I guess they're just trying to find a middle ground where it's not too overpowered, but at the same time it might be sort of useful. Yeah, but anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Personally, I just want to see a skill. I would have loved to see Sailing or Summoning or Dungeoneering. I would have picked any of those over Warding, but in the end, the thing that I want most is just a skill, so just give me some sort of skill, and I would be happy. I know there are a lot of people that are like the opposite of that. They want the content, but they don't want a skill. Tell me down below, what do you guys think? Hopefully I was able to condense this video into a pretty short video because the blog is pretty long, and I didn't want to release a 30-minute video that no one's going to watch even half of. So hopefully it all made sense. I got everything in, and that is it. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.